today on Divorce Court.
I need help saving my marriage.
I don't feel like he shows me enough respect.
She needs to listen to me more.
I want to know that my husband's in it to win it.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Brittany Jones and Quinton Garrett. The two of you have been together for 4 years, married for 2. Mr. Garrett, you're 32. Ms. Jones, you're 28. Ms. Jones, you have 4 children from previous relationships, none with Mr. Garrett.
Correct.
I want you to tell me why we're here in divorce court today. You're looking for assistance to save this marriage. Tell me why it's in so much trouble.
Well, he sent mixed signals from the start. He knew I had 4 kids when we got married. He knew I couldn't have any more children. He knew that I didn't want any more children. I told him if he wanted more children, I'm not the woman for him. This is way before we got married. He said I was the one for him, and that wasn't a problem. And after we got married, it was like it went downhill from there. About a month after we got married.
What happened?
He abandoned me and the children while we were staying in motels. We lost our place. And we were staying in motels.
So who moved in with who? Once you got married, did you have your own place and he moved in?
He moved in, yes.
Okay, what happened that put you in a financial situation that you lost your place?
I lost my place not because of finances, but because a new owner bought the apartment complex we lived in, and they just were making changes.
Changes, circumstance, and you couldn't keep up with it.
Yes.
Is she accurate so far, Mr. Garrett?
So far, yes, ma'am.
Okay. He abandoned you 1 month in. Tell me how that occurred.
Okay, me and the children had to go move into a shelter. He was welcome to come with us because we were married. He chose not to. He then, shortly after that, he came up there once, and then he stopped visiting. He stopped taking my phone calls. He stopped talking to me. He just was incognito.
Once your wife went into the shelter with all those children, did you just cut her off?
Not exactly, Your Honor.
What happened?
There were situations with myself that I felt like I didn't want to go through it again. Prior to our relationship, I had already been in that similar situation as far as being in a homeless shelter for 3 years.
Right.
And I vowed to myself I didn't want to go back to that situation. I wouldn't relive that situation. So I told her upon entering into the homeless shelter that I would come, I would stay for the first 2 days, make sure everything was okay, and after that,
you were out.
I was not gonna remain there.
Okay. I can't co-sign on that, but I can understand it. My question to you is, once you left them there and you didn't have to stay there, why did you stop contact with them? You can take calls, you can bring them money, you can see them. Why didn't that happen?
It was more or less out of sight, out of mind, so to speak, and I was employed in another city, so I was trying to maintain my job in the next city, so it was hard transportation-wise.
You don't need a transportation for a phone call or a text.
It was just hard. I couldn't deal with it.
You couldn't deal with it? So you made her deal with it alone?
Not intentionally. It was just a mistake that I made at that particular time.
I can take that. Ms. Jones, then what happened after you were abandoned in the shelter?
I just focused on the kids and getting a place. I got on my feet, and he ended up coming to my place, and actually had a couple friends over, and we were having drinks and stuff, and then he said he was going to take a shower, and that's when my friends left, and I went upstairs, and his phone was on the bed, which I've never went through his phone before, but all the things that were taking place, I picked up the phone, I looked in it, and that's when I seen messages saying, "I love you," and "When are you coming home?" And
when are you coming home?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Garrett, is the truth actually that not only did you abandon him in the shelter, the reason you lost contact with him is that you found shelter with another woman?
Partially. I can say partially.
Did you stay with that other woman because she had a place?
Yes. There was...
Help me.
I feel like it was more to it than that.
Well, tell me what that was.
As far as, to back it up just a little bit, Your Honor.
Okay.
As far as the kids were concerned, as far as us having conversations about having another child, she knew that from the beginning that I wanted another child. I had a prior situation with the child that I have outside before we were together, and that situation, I'm not as present in my son's life as much as I would like to be. So I wanted another child.
So you're telling me 30 days into a marriage, after you already married a woman you knew who couldn't have children, you abandoned them, left them, and went with another woman because all of a sudden in those 30 days, that not having a child issue became paramount. It was so important to you that you abandoned her. Isn't it the case that you didn't want to stay in the shelter? It was her tough luck. You found another chick to put you up, and that's exactly what you did. Isn't that what happened?
Yes, ma'am.
So what happened when you found out what he was doing while you were in the shelter?
I walked into the bathroom where he was taking a shower, and I said, so this is how you feel? And once he got out, he was like, I love you. I want us to stay together. I want my marriage. I don't want to be with her. Just down on one knee and saying how much he loved me. So I forgave him. But then a week later, or maybe 2 at the most, I start texting. He won't respond at first. Then when he finally responds, he said, I choose her. LOL.
I choose her, LOL?
I choose, well,
I
the young lady.
I honestly don't recall the LOL portion of that text message.
Let's take it off. I choose her. Deal with it. Unsaid, but that's what you were saying.
I felt smothered. I felt like at that time, I needed an outlet. I needed a way out of the marriage.
Well, how long had you been back with her after she got out of the shelter that you decide you were smothered?
I felt this way prior to all of this.
How could you feel smothered when she was in a shelter and you were living with another woman?
Before,
Yeah.
prior to the shelter, prior to us losing the place, the apartment.
But prior to all that, you felt smothered.
I felt smothered.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that because you gotta explain that to me because I don't understand it.
He was in my house texting the girl, telling her how he can't live without her. He loved her, just all kinds of stuff. So it's just like, it didn't end right there.
Okay, I got it. So what I'm gathering from what you've been saying, that you felt smothered all along throughout the entire course of your relationship with Ms. Jones. Is that accurate?
Not entirely.
Tell
I wouldn't
me when
say
you
from
started.
the beginning. I wouldn't say I felt smothered from the beginning. From the beginning, I was the perfect gentleman. Wine her, dine her. I wanted to be with her, so I did whatever it was necessary to be with her.
When did you start feeling smothered? That's the question.
Maybe 6 to 8 months into our relationship.
Well, you dated for 4 years, and you felt smothered 6 months in? And now you're telling me that you rode out smothered for two more years, then you got married for 2 more years, and it just so happens you got so smothered at the point where she could no longer give you shelter and some other chick could? This is what you're telling me?
I took on a whole family, not just her. I took on her plus four kids.
What do you have to say about him feeling smothered and overwhelmed by your 4 children?
I can't understand that because he's the one who begged me to get married. I didn't even want to get married.
So how did we get here today? He abandoned you once, went with the other woman, came back when you got yourself together, left again, said he picks the other woman. Then what happened?
Just the disrespect. Him, like one time, he wanted to go downtown, which is a place where a lot of this stuff is taking place.
Okay.
Where he's leaving and not coming home and all this. And I told him no because I was getting ready for my mother's birthday party. And I was on my way out the door pretty much. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna take you down there. And not just that, I also said, because that's the place that we got arguments about that is causing problems in our marriage. So he called me all kinds of B's right in front of my cousin, called me all out of my name, got mad, started yelling, screaming, just loud and irate.
Mr. Garrett, did that occur?
Yes, Your Honor.
What were you so angry about?
Downtown that she speaks on is the downtown portion of the city, but it's a place where I grew up. I went to school. I have friends. Downtown is also where the young lady who I had the affair with, she resides in that portion of the city.
Yeah.
And
So whenever I say I'm going downtown to hang with the fellas, she assumes that at some point
You're gonna see
during that
woman.
time, she feels that I'm going to initiate contact with this young lady, or
and
I'm
isn't
going to
that
see
pretty
her.
much what you've been
And
doing?
he has.
No.
I mean,
did.
she's always willing to take you back when you come back, so there must be some kind of contact with her throughout.
He was.
With the young lady who I had the affair with?
He
No.
was.
Well, you left her twice for the
True.
lady.
True. But
So
once
what-
the young lady found out that I was married, that relationship was cut off.
Okay.
No, it
So you tell me what happened, Ms. Jones.
It was not cut off. He was in my house texting the girl, telling her how he can't live without her. He loved her, just all kinds of stuff. So it's just like it didn't end right there.
Okay, I got it. So, I know what was happening. He had you both. He had you both, and you were both tolerating one another, which you got to own a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you knew she was there, and she knew you were there,
I knew he was
and
still
you were
seeing
just
her.
trying to pull and this and that, and you were playing one against another, and went wherever the circumstances were best at that particular point in time. So I'm going to move off of that for a minute because we have established that clearly, and I want to talk a little bit about your finances and how that contributes to the instability in your marriage. Since she's handling all the bills and making sure there's a roof over your head and transportation and paying all that, could you answer the mom request? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do that a lot of the time.
Just keep looking at her?
A lot of the time, I do that.
So tell me what your current financial situation looks like.
Okay, right now, I'm not working because I'm a CNA, but I have to wait till I can take my license test, which is scheduled for September 23rd. So at this moment, I'm not.
How do you survive?
And he's not working. I've been doing this job on the weekend, holding signs. My father helps me sometimes.
Flipping signs like on the corner?
Like we hold it. We don't flip this particular one. It's so big, it can't be flipped.
Holding it, doing whatever you got to do to put food in your baby's mouth.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
The same.
He was doing it with me. He did come out and do that with me.
Are you working now? Are you still with the
ma'am.
sign?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he still out there
Yes,
with the
he's
sign?
he's still out there
Do
with
you
me.
see any of that money?
Some of it. Some of it.
Are you living in the same household?
Right now, yes, we are residing together at the moment.
Do you still believe him to be in contact with the woman downtown?
To be honest, I'm not sure. He's very secretive with his phone and different things. So sometimes I think he might be the way he reacts to me at times.
You say she plays spades, ignores her kids, and it's just too much for you, and that's why you're overwhelmed. Why don't you explain your perspective to me? Because right now...
At home, Your Honor, I take care of 95% of everything. I do the cooking the majority of the time. I do the cleaning.
Is that true, that he does the cooking and the cleaning?
He does cleaning. He does cook. I cook sometimes too. Maybe not as much sometimes because everything else is on me. The bills are on me. Everything else, like to and from, transportation, bills, everything else I have to handle. On top of my own mind, things that I'm going through because of what we're going through.
She's too easy on the kids.
Why do you say she's too easy on the kids?
Your Honor, prime example. We're in the room. I'm watching TV. She's on the bed. She's playing her spades on her phone. One of the children may come in and ask her a question. She totally doesn't say anything. She'll be sitting there playing the game. Mom, 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 I need this. Or Mom, can I do this? Mom, Mom. No response. After a while, I'm like, okay, listen, you're gonna have to say something to them. They keep coming back. Can
I ask you this? Can you pop out there, since she's handling all the bills and making sure there's a roof over your head and transportation and paying all that, could you answer the mom request? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do that a lot of the time.
Just keep looking at her?
A lot of the time I do that. But I'm also the disciplinarian.
Right.
So when the kids come in, a lot of the times when the kids come in to ask whatever question, they don't come to me.
Because all he do is yell.
They'll go to her because 9 times out of 10 they know my
All he does
answer.
is yell and scream at them all day.
Do you yell and scream, or do you discipline? There's a difference.
In my opinion, I feel I do half and half. I give them a lot of both.
Do you want to save this marriage?
I do. Only if the issues can be addressed and worked on. I feel
Do you want to save this
I
marriage?
do. That's why I'm still here.
I give you my best, the best I got. Don't know if it's enough, but I give you the best I got. You guys are caught in that great morass of deprivation. You don't have money, you don't have backing, and you're borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, and you're living from pillar to post and can't quite make it all the time, and you're all under constant, unrelenting pressure. I want to tell you that I know that, and I feel that. That's why she goes into the game of spades, because she's busy feeding those mouths, and at some point she needs some peace, because she's got a man who's playing one chick against her, going to her house back. So if she's ever homeless again, she knows you're out the door in that other chick's house. That's who you are. That's what you do. She can't count on you. So it's all on herself. So when she can get time for a breather, she gets on that game of spades. And then you over there come in there bigfooting in her house with her kids, screaming and hollering. You just an occupying force. You are not love. You are not support. They say mom, mom, mom because they know they call your name, that you won't answer. Now listen, they're not your kids. I get that. But you married her. They came with her. You should have been ready to take on that responsibility. If you weren't, you should have stayed someplace else. No, it's all me. Now that I've finished my fuss, let me say this. Bless you for having your tubes tied. Never ever complain to her again about lack of children, because you can't tolerate no more. You can't bring no more. It would be a total ego move on your part that will implode this family completely, because if you get another kid and you get sick and tired of it, you're going to leave that kid with her and walk off. So you don't deserve any more. That's no, because it's ego for you now, because you guys are barely treading water. If you really want to save this marriage, you have to show up for a grown man. I don't think he has it in him. Tell you the truth. I think there's too many opportunities for him to do the wrong thing, and that he's going to do that. What I would do if I were you, keep on that CNA track. Don't worry about him. And next time he bounces, you make sure he stays gone. You don't need that kind of drama. You need to be secure in yourself. Be cool as long as he's cool, and make him show up. Never make his romantic life part of your drama. Forget him if he's not going to act right. Make him act right, make him do right, or bounce him to the curb. Do you understand that? Bounce. I'm mad, and this matter is adjourned.
Quinten is a good guy, and he could be that guy, but right now, where we stand, he's not that guy right now. But I see potential for him to be that guy if he could just step it up.
I want my relationship to be better. I know I can be a better man, a better father, a better husband, and I want to be. And I want to make those necessary steps to be that husband that my wife wants me to be, or that she needs me to be.